Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. This is the 7th video of the Xiu Dao series. If you have watched my prior videos, you may have noticed that topics are getting more and more interesting. However, at the same time, it is becoming a bit more abstract too. It seems that it's hard to understand these new topics. It is caused by the nature of Xiu Dao practice. My suggestion is that you should watch the prior videos for a better understanding of the new videos. My approach in presenting Xiu Dao knowledge is very systematic. New topics are built based on the prior topics. Therefore, to have a better understanding of this knowledge, please watch all of the Xiu Dao videos. Furthermore, in introducing Xiu Dao, I will not focus on any specific styles in the beginning. Some people prefer to focus on the special schools of Xiu Dao. However, based on my teaching experience, you should study as much fundamental knowledge as you can. Then, in the future, choose the right system that is most suitable to you and then stay with it. Some of you may think that what I'm introducing is very specific already. To be very honest to you, what I'm introducing is just some very common knowledge in the traditional Xiu Dao practice. Of course, some of these topics are based on the result of years of study by myself. Sharing and promoting the traditional and authentic practice is my objective of producing those videos. I would be very happy if you apply this to your practice and share the results of your practice with the community. By the way, many Xiu Dao practitioners over the centuries and to this day have believed in the concept of 天机不可泄露, or heavenly secret must not be divulged. This sentence means that heaven will punish you if you share its secrets with others. Many practitioners believe Xiu Dao concepts to be inherited from heaven and they won't dare to share them with the public. However, I do not support this idea at all. I believe it is just a means for elitism and control. If Xiu Dao can benefit others, then why not share this with people? It doesn't make sense if you believe that interpretation. Now, there exists another interpretation of this term, something I agree with. Let me explain in the term 天机不可泄露. 天 means heaven. 机 means secret. 不 means not. 可 means able to. 泄露 means divulge. The translation is that the secret of a practice is impossible to be taught. In other words, real knowledge can only be achieved with personal practice. I first heard this translation from my grandfather, Yang Qinglin, though there of course might have been other people who supported this thought. Now you can see that the same sentence, 天机不可泄露, has two totally different interpretations. The first tells us to keep it a secret or to be punished by heaven. The other interpretation is that personal practice is necessary to understand the knowledge. I support this interpretation not merely out of the love for my grandfather, but mainly because it is the most rational explanation available. I have taught many people about this term. Yes, of course, I have experienced hard times in my life, and so has every other human being. But the idea that someone would be punished for sharing Xiu Dao knowledge is, in my opinion, implausible. In case you believe in such superstitious ideas, I hope you can let go of those and look for rational interpretations. Now, you may be wondering why I'm talking about this. Well, I will introduce a new topic today, and this topic is considered a secret in the Xiu Dao community. Not only the concept and the practice, but even the name itself is considered a secret. Let me remind you to consider the word secret in the context of Xiu Dao as something that cannot be understood without practice, and not as something that should be hidden from everyone. It is not that heaven will punish me after posting this video. If anything, heaven should in fact reward me. Anyway, topics covered in today's video include: first, introduce of Xuan Guan; second, significance of Xuan Guan; third, principle of Xuan Guan; fourth, practice time; and fifth, takeaways. So let's get started. Topic 1. Xuan Guan Introduction. Xuan Guan as the term has been in Xiu Dao for about 1,000 years now. It is commonly believed that Zhang Boduan, or the author of Wu Zhen Pian, or Understanding Reality, first mentioned this term. By the way, I have introduced Zhang Boduan in my prior video. He is one of the most important figures in Xiu Dao practice. I plan to systematically introduce some key figures in Xiu Dao in the future, and for sure he will be on the list. Xuan Guan consists of two characters. Xuan means mystery, Guan means gate. Together, literally translation of Xuan Guan is Mestry Gate. It is commonly regarded as one of the key concepts in Xiu Dao. Over the last 1,000 years, this term has been mentioned and discussed by many Xiu Dao schools and practitioners. Especially in the last 600 years, it has become an unavoidable term in Xiu Dao. In the Xiu Dao community, this term is considered a turning point from post-modal to primordial, from 有为 to 无为, from action to non-action, from human to immortal. Based on my experience, I would like to say that in order to understand Xiu Dao practice, the key turning point is to figure out the Xuan Guan state. In practice, you have to experience the Xuan Guan state in order to enter the next stage of practice. I also believe that all of the primordial experiences of Xiu Dao practice start from discovery and experiencing Xuan Guan. I'm using the term Xuan Guan state here intentionally, which I will explain in the next topic. Topic 2. Xuan Guan's significance. Before talking about its significance, I'd like to explain Xuan Guan some more. First of all, where is Xuan Guan in the body? Well, basically, there are two possible ideas. One is that Xuan Guan is the definite part of the body. The other one is that Xuan Guan does not have a fixed place in the body. Let's consider the first idea that Xuan Guan is the definite body part. Going by this approach, Xuan Guan can be considered to be any of the kidney area, yellow palace area, commonly believed to be focused behind the chest or inside of the head. Third, lower dantian, usually below the navel. Fourth, middle dantian, usually behind the chest, and the upper dantian, usually behind the forehead. Of course, there are other possible positions as well according to a few practitioners, but those are the most common ones. Now, let's consider the second idea that Xuan Guan does not have a fixed place in the body. With this approach, Xuan Guan can be considered a state in the course of practice during which the energy transforms. Xuan Guan is the act of transformation of energy, not a destination or a physical entity. Different practitioners have provided different explanations over the years. I'd like to introduce some of them here. First, Xuan Guan is a gate. This gate is formless. When the energy rises, the gate will reveal itself. Second, Xuan Guan is the fine line between practicing without intention and practicing with intention. Third, Xuan Guan is from the emptiness. Fourth, Xuan Guan is the spiritual light generated by the interaction between spirit and energy. Of course, there are other explanations as well. In the interest of time, I'm limiting the number to these ones I just mentioned, which I believe to be important. Like I mentioned earlier, Xuan Guan became a popular term about 600 years ago and can be found in many classic Xiu Dao documents. Most Xiu Dao practitioners believe Xuan Guan to not have a fixed place in the body. In a prior video, I talked about the Xing and the Ming, or nature and life. Please have a look if you haven't already. Link is in the description. Now, let me link Xing and Ming with the Xuan Guan concept. The practice of focusing on a specific area of the body in the process of achieving Xuan Guan emptiness, Ming, or life, going beyond a specific area of the body while practicing Xiu Dao emphasizes Xing, or nature, which is the concept that Xuan Guan is not a fixed place in our body. Actually, it is the practice that emphasized the Xing aspect, or nature. Since Xing and Ming are two fundamental aspects of Xiu Dao, they are directly related to Xuan Guan. In other words, Xuan Guan is the bridge connecting Xing and Ming in Xiu Dao practice. One may find it difficult to directly work on Xing and Ming in practice, since they are fundamental concepts. So, focusing on Xuan Guan practice and entering the state of Xuan Guan becomes a key step in making real practice in Xiu Dao practice. This is why I always emphasize this term when teaching my students Xiu Dao. Again, without understanding Xuan Guan or Mestry Gate, you cannot enter the Xiu Dao realm. Topic 3. Principle of Xuan Guan. Since I believe that Xuan Guan is not a fixed place in our body, in practice, I advise you to go beyond your physical body. In this video, I'd like to briefly introduce some key principles of Xuan Guan. Hopefully, you will be able to borrow some ideas from this video and apply them in your practice. First, how to practice Xuan Guan. In Xiu Dao, the practice of Xuan Guan is just make it happen. So, how to make the Xuan Guan happen? Basically, you should follow the Xiu Dao principle of being static, and with time, energy will rise. After that, Xuan Guan or Mestry Gate will open. I'm using the word open here since it is very visual in describing the abstract term. Second, after Xuan Guan opens, then there's no difference between internal and external, since the energy manages the practice of refining itself. Also, the great medicine will be generated when Xuan Guan emerges. So, the key principle is to wait for the Mestry Gate to emerge, and then let the primordial energy work naturally. Third, in Xiu Dao practice, people pursue the state of 天人合一, or the universe and human merge as one. Actually, 天人合一 is the result of a Xuan Guan opening. When Mestry Gate emerges, your energy merges with the universe. There are many more principles which I will introduce at a later time, but for now, let us focus only on this. Topic 4. Practice time. You may have noticed that for each Xiu Dao video, I introduce a specific practice. Again, I would like to remind you that each new step builds on the prior steps. Please do not skip any step. Rushing things and skipping steps will not provide you any benefit. Assuming you are already practicing the steps introduced in prior videos, I think it's time for you to start to practice something more. Again, please work on prior steps before you get to this one. Assuming that you already have experienced some sensations like expansion or contraction of energy, or feelings of heat or chills, or others after practicing last exercise that was introduced in the 6th video, following this new step. First, adjust the breathing pattern. Do not focus on breathing, neither inhalation or exhalation. In this step, there's no coordination between the mind and the breathing. Second, just be aware of the lower dantian area and keep your mind relaxed. Third, then maintain your posture as well as the state of being for as long as you want. To maximize the effect, you should practice this one for about 30 minutes straight. Fourth, when you want to finish a session, then just open your eyes and relax. Please work on it when you find the time, and I'm sure you will benefit from it. Topic 5. Takeaways. Again, a very short video, but a key concept has been introduced. First, 天机不可泄露 is more rationally translated as real knowledge needs to be experienced. Second, Xuan Guan or Mestry Gate is the turning point from post-modal to primordial, from you wei to wu wei, from action to non-action, from human to immortal. 3. Xuan Guan is the bridge joining Xing and Ming, or nature and life. Fourth, Xuan Guan practice involves being static and letting your energy rise and then letting the energy merge with the universe. Fifth, to practice Xuan Guan, maintain a seated posture for about 30 minutes along with relaxed awareness of the mind, breathing, and lower dantian. That concludes today's video. Thank you for watching. See you next time and enjoy your practice.